Morning. So I'm in southern Arizona. We just had a couple days of heavy monsoons, incredible winds. I've even heard some people lost their roofs that flew off of their houses, lots of trees down. But I did notice a pattern. Not too many trees were down, but a lot of trees that fell over were pruned in a certain way. And so, I'm not saying if you don't avoid this pruning method that you're never going to lose a tree, but it's far less likely you're gonna have tree damage, branches broken off your trees if you avoid pruning your trees in the way that I'm gonna describe in this video. So, let's do it. Alright, so this practice you should avoid is called lion's tail. No, not that lion's tail. So lion's tail pruning practices include removing the lower branches of a tree, so they look like this. So the lower branches are removed, leaving just leaves at the tips of the branches. And I'll explain to you why that's a bad thing. This all comes down to a physics concept of mechanical advantage. And so if you've ever learned about levers and fulcrums, you'll understand that if you have a really long lever, you can pick up a really large load just by using that mechanical advantage. By giving a small force, you move at a longer distance, but you're able to pick up a really large load. So same thing happens with a tree trunk. So you have a tree branch that's really long, and on the end of that long tree branch, you have leaves. The wind starts blowing on those leaves. Say it's giving 500 pounds of force. If that branch is 20 feet long, then 500 times 20 is 10,000. You have 10,000 foot-pounds of torque that are going to be applied to the fulcrum point, which is either where the branch connects to the trunk or where the trunk connects to the ground. And this is what causes large branches to break and large trees to fall over. And this is the reason you shouldn't lion's tail your trees. So I'm gonna give you some more examples. So driving around my block, just looking at some of the trees, there's a lot of lion's tailed trees, lots of branches that fell off those trees. Essentially every single branch I saw was pruned in this so-called lion's tail style. And I admit it looks kind of cool, but if you're anticipating really strong winds, like if you live in Arizona and there's monsoon season, the winds are going to be 50, 60 plus miles an hour, and they might just snap because they can't take the torque of all that wind blowing. So a lot of plant damage. It's really sad because these trees are really pretty, and I don't personally like the Palo Verde trees very much compared to others, but still it's really sad to see them destroyed so heavily by these winds. I'm just really glad nobody got hurt. These big branches could have really done some damage if they'd fallen on houses and things. So, if you have trees that are hanging over your house, avoid lion's tailing them because, strong winds might just cause those branches to fall on your house. And that'd be the worst if anyone got hurt from bad pruning practices. So please don't be offended if you prune your trees in this style. I'm not trying to offend anyone, just trying to put warnings out. These are over by the park near my house. Just lots of branches that fell. And these particular trees, it's kind of hard to avoid these types of styles. So just wanted to give that information so you can choose whether or not you still want to lion's tail your trees. Hope this helps.